All right, guys. Hope everyone's doing good out there. We're going to hit a lesson 13 today. I want to show you guys some stuff real quick. A couple of bug fixes. This document is out there under week 13. Um, One of the things I want to show you guys, and I've already fixed it here, so I'm going to unfix it and show you what this does so you can see. When we first started doing message boxes, way back at the beginning of the semester, not years and years and years ago, it seems like that now, but we said that the parent window of the message box was null. And I'm going to set this one to null. And the thing is when the field comes up, I'm just saying hey, and I want to get through the video pretty as quickly as possible. Um, but um, for the lesson 13. But if that's not null, let me show you what happens. I'll shrink this window down here. There we go. Make Mr. Tim a little smaller there. And I put in a name. Now, okay, up pops up box, right? Turn that down here. Okay. Now, if I click over here, the box is gone. Okay. Now, I can't click that box. Now I can start hitting buttons, and the car will eventually load and appear. And um, then I get this weird button. It's like, whoop, try again. How did you get that? And then we're not in automatic mode. Things go weird. When the button's able to go away, then like if you click off the main field, then the button's gone, and then you have an inconsistent result. Well, if I tell the message box that it's a child of the field, of the window handle field, which I'm just going to take this here and copy it and put it back in here the way it was, then what we do is we actually say this message box is tied to the field, and nothing can happen on the field until the message box is satisfied. So since the message box is launched by the window handle of the field, nothing else can happen with any application now unless the message box happens. Now let's see how this works. We'll say my name is why do you do this to us? Okay, so now notice I can click here, I can click here, I can click off the app and back on the app, but that message box is like saying you can't, if I use arrow keys, I can't even activate the car right now. And so by doing that, we control the flow to where your user can't get into an alternate flow. And this was just something that came up as I'm trying to fill in the back videos of the series. I'm like, hey, I'm not doing that, and that's why that's happening. And so I wanted to show you that discovery there. And so when we make that H field, then the field will load. We'll load all those bitmaps, and we have all the automatic control. We now have more consistency, and it's just a really minor retrofit of the message box. All of our message boxes should be children of H field. And this just cruises on, so we're good. So that works. So I just did a control F on message box. There's about 7 or 8 places in the game where we have messages. Now, here's another one. I've done this to this message box. It says try again. Now, until I answer this, look, I can't even close the screen. I can't do anything with the screen until I resolve the message box. Okay, I'm going to die right here. But then now, I'm going to say okay. And then now I can close the screen if I don't hit any other buttons. And it's going to take off on me probably, and then it'll. So the message boxes take control of the entire session, and then that way you can actually control what the message boxes do if they answer them what the answers are and stuff like that. So they're supposed message boxes are supposed to stop the flow of the game, um, and they don't unless you say basically who are you controlling, what's your window handle, and when we put that in there, we get that control, we get that direction, and we get the consistency in the code, which is really kind of cool. The other thing too is I brought this up last week, and I want to make sure you guys are good on this with gas cans. We had an issue a couple weeks ago that I brought out where if you ended up dying, like you ran out of gas or you hit a brick wall and you didn't catch a gas can on the field, then when you did it the second time, if you went and got the gas can, you could still consume the gas can, but the gas can physically didn't disappear when you destroyed it because really there was like literally two there. Does that make sense? And so, just like we were killing one gas can, you have to kill them both if you're stopping the game. Um, so if I put in gas can here, it should look like this. Like right here, uh, we've we've run out of gas. Try again. That's one gas can. Um, and then if I go through and look at the other gas can, hooray, you finished the course. Again, when you finish the course, I want to destroy both the gas cans, otherwise they'll appear on the next course. Um, if I hit the brick wall and we're starting over, your car's totaled, start over, and then instead of saying you hit a brick wall, you hit something. So we're going to change that right here. Um, that's another thing I had you guys want to do is go ahead and look at your messages. You hit something. Your car is totaled, start over. That way, if you turn those little red pillars into boulders or tree trunks or whatever you guys want to change those into versus being hay bales, and hay bales could be like bushes. So you guys can do any artistic representation of those things. Again, these are ugly fields. They're designed to be ugly. They're only data representation of what the field can be. We're gonna hopefully see what you guys can do with the field over the last couple of weeks here of class. Play around with paint and some other stuff like that. I hope to put out a supplemental even possibly this week on that. So make sure you fix those and notice that I'm destroying both gas cans whenever I hit a brick wall. If I run out of gas, if I win, I'm destroying both the gas cans and I'm just cleaning that up. It's kind of like a memory cleanup. We're just getting rid of that stuff and moving on. We don't have to clear out the array because we're going to load a brand new array with brand new gas cans. Also this week, there's a new field, okay? And you've seen this. This is field 5.bmp. This is a new field. Just to give you an idea of what I was thinking about here on this field was either you can go this route that's a little bit longer. I was thinking put a gas can there and possibly another gas can way over here and then over here to win. So do you want to take the safe route that's up and around like this and get this gas can here and then go out? Or did you just want to come down and out and pick up a gas can here that's like close to the wall? So I was like going, that could be a very interesting, do you want to go the more dangerous route or do you want to go the safer route? And then having them want to make a decision either way. So that's field 5. There was a discussion to make field 1 harder or field 2 or whatever we were using. And I just said, you know what, I'll just make another field. I had this random thought go through my mind. And so now you guys have the original field that we built. You have, in fact, I think I have them right here. Do I? Oh yeah, they are right here. They are in Dropbox. So we have base.csv that ties with field 3, I believe. And then you have field 4. No, it should tie with field 2. Field 2, you guys have somewhere else. I can put that bitmap in there, but we have base.csv. Then you have field 3.csv, field 4.csv, and field 5.csv. So you guys have a choice now. Either you can go to a 4-level game, all right? You can go to 3 levels and get rid of the old level 1, which was way too simple. Or you can just start your users off with a real simple level to where they're getting used to the controls and stuff like that. So that's up to you. If you want to do 4 levels, just change your little conditions to like making say, well, you know, we're checking for level being 3, check for level being 4 if you're adding a 4th field. And I'll note that when I looked at it, I'll just show you what I did right here. Because adding fields are really, really easy anymore with the structure that I've given you guys. And so when we come in here and we start the main procedure, which is right up here. Thank you, I didn't go high enough. So I'm going field 3, field 4, field 5. Field 4 I thought was still harder than field 5. So I felt that this was order of difficulty. But then once you lay out your fields, whatever, I decided to go 3, 5, 4. You can put your gas cans anywhere you want. Also, remember, once you go through your fields, there's no rule that says you can't give them field 5 again with a gas can in a different location. Think about that. One thing to think about is that we could add another element to this array, a 5th element to this array for each level. And then we could have them go back through the same level again, but if we add another element, since this is an integer anyway, we can put in that field the delay of milliseconds, and we might do that. We're also going to be adding tries today because we're going to be doing this thing called score. So if you look at the game the way I have it right now, this is lesson 13. I've already done some of the code, so you don't have to sit here and watch me debug this. I think that made the videos a little long. I was just like, oh, well, class is an hour and a half long. The video can be an hour and a half long. So anyway, today we're going to be a scorer over here. Another score is a pretty big field. It's probably going to be several thousand points. In feel was already there. And I was like going, well, I already have a label here. And I already have an amount here. And I have score here. So I'll just take, I know where feel is, I know where level is, I know where score could be. So I'll just take the window handles, and here's what we've done. This is all in the document. I was like going, okay, we already know we need our own field, an integer that we're going to keep track with score with. So we're going to have this integer that we can add and subtract to and do all of our other math with. And then we're going to have this thing called WScore. And we're going to convert the integer value to the WKRT, which is the international standard. And then we're going to shove the Windows standard object into the Windows handle, because Microsoft Windows is built for something other than just English. Instead, you know, they're a global company, so that we support every language in the world. And so WKRT is a character set that is like ASCII, but instead of just supporting the English language, it supports everything. So, kind of cool. All right, so that's our new field. I went ahead and put score up here in the corner. So what did I do? I literally went out and cut and pasted out of my program the window handles for fuel gauge and field display. Okay. Then I realized that for fuel, we created a window handle for the label. Well, we don't need a window handle for the label because we're not going to change the label. You with me? Once we paint the window handle, we're done with it. So I was like going, well, that's just an extra window handle. I left that other stuff alone for feel, but for score, I just said, this is static. It doesn't need a window handle. I'm not updating it. And then I did me another edit window handle for score, and I just painted 0 in there, and it was just a visible child. And the only thing I really changed was the location of this thing. I went from 20 instead of the 90, I believe the field gauge was at. So I played around with this Y component. That's the only thing that changed. And then I just went boop, up it went. So that's that. So this is really, you can pull this out of the document, or you can cut and paste it and tweak it from the field gauge. Okay, so um, I did change a window handle for H score because we're going to have to shove the score up there, right? All right. So, um, so there's a window handle for H score. We have the integer. So the integer is initialized to 0. We initialize that to 0 when we come into the game. So that's, and when we reinitialize the field, we don't want to change that. So it's only up here at the very top around line 60, and I didn't have it there. But I'm going to just say, just for fun, whenever I start the game, I'm going to say score is going to equal 0. I don't have to worry about it being initialized anywhere else. And so we got our fields, we got our gas can, we got our fuel tank full, we're ready to go, right? All right. So then down here, when we actually display all the other objects, you'll see that I went ahead and threw the code right in there. There's the fuel and fuel per that there's a label, for fuel. That window handle wasn't even required, but I'm going to leave it there. But you notice that when we cut, so that's at 90, right? So, and then if we go down just a little bit more, you'll see that when I created H score in the label for score, notice that label's on, and I guess we ended up at 10 to make it look more like this. So that's actually 10. All right, so that's that. So now we got a place to put a score. Now we need a scoring methodology, okay? Really anymore with what games we have, it's like Minecraft. When I grew up, it was more important, I think, that I played that game and I had a high score of da 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 da. And so back in the day of like Pac-Man and even some of the Donkey Kong and stuff like that, in the early days, even in Pong, we had a concept of a score. And we also had the concept of, if you tried 3 times or you tried 4 times, there was only so many times you could try a level, and then you would run out of lives. So you could actually die. Uh, and that was still true in Mario Brothers. They didn't have really a score so much. They did have a score, but really in like the whole Mario series, Mario and Luigi games and Save the Princess, they had a score, but what we found out there is that what level you've gotten to was probably more important in your adventure than it was the score. But yeah, some of us old timers still like scores. So this is kind of a more mature person game, shall we say. This is more of what I grew up with. So um, again, next semester we're going to blow that all the way. I know it's more about the adventure these days. Um, so uh, anyway, for score you have to have rules. For advancement you have to have rules. Uh, Fortnite has scores. You have to get, but your scores in Fortnite are kind of like bonus points that allow you to get extra levels, extra skins, whatever. And so there's still So the score is more tied to a reward. Did you do this adventure? Did you do that adventure? Did you complete this? More like check boxes on like a almost an appraisal. But scoring has a bunch of different methodologies to it. I'm going to give you one methodology for scoring. You may choose to come up with a different scoring model. But the thing is since you guys know how to code in C++, since you know how the levels work, um, and stuff like that, you can come up with your own scoring methodology. I'm just going to show you a real basic one, and I have it down here in the sheet right here. But it's very, very simple. I'm going to say that, every time you pick up a gas can, we're going to give you 100 points. Every time you finish a field, we're going to give you 500 points. Plus 10 points for every 1% of gas you have. So if you have 20% in the gas tank, we're going to give you another 200 points. Every time you hit a hay bale, I'm going to take away 10 points. Every time you hit a brick wall, I'm going to take away 100 points. And every time you run out of gas, I'll take away 100 points. Okay? So you can literally go to 0 on this game. So how are we going to do this? All right. Well, scoring might be a little bit different. What we want to do when we do the score, what sounds we want to play when we update the score, and let them be aware that they're earning points. These things are all going to change, right? So I went down here to gas can. I started in gas can just to show you guys what this looks like. So I was like going, okay, well, when I destroy the gas can, I'm gonna update the score. Okay, I'm gonna group the ideas together. So like, how do I know they got the gas can? Well, they're in the kill the gas can code, right? And so here's the score. I say score equals score plus 100. I convert it to the W score field, and then I take W score and I send a window text message out to the window 8 score. But you'll go down and look at, well, if you get one gas can or the other gas can, then you're like going, well, why is that not there? Well, there's a reason why it's not there, to be honest with you. It's pretty straightforward. Is the moment I start cutting and pasting code, every time I want to change the score, and it's 3 lines, and if I want to play a bloop sound or whatever, then I'm like going, okay, sounds like a function, right? Sounds like we don't. So if we change the way our scoring display works, the sound we play when we update scores, what if they earn 500 or 700 points after finishing a field, and every 20 we wanted to go bloop, 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 kind of like, here's your bonus for finishing the field or whatever. We could do that, right? But so what we're going to do is we're going to go here, and we're like, okay, we're going to go to a function called update SW score, okay? And updates, I'm just going to update score. I don't know what that W is doing there. The document's fixed. And agile development here. Okay, so let's just grab this code here. The code's already there. I'm just going to go here. I'm going to update score. And every time I update score, I'm going to pass it an integer. So the integer I'm passing it is simply, and we'll come down here to line 733 again here, but I'm going to go down to the very end of the code, because why not? Start at the bottom. So here's the function, Control V. I'm going to put that there, and there's the beginning of the function, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and come up here, and I'm going to grab this code right here. And you're going to see errors pop up all over the place. Okay, so before I do that, I'm going to do this. I'm going to say 100, right? I'm going to take this, This is now gone. And I'm going to put this code down here. Okay. And I'm going to call this add score. All right. Int add score. And then score equals score plus add score. Okay. Copy. Paste. Control V. Control Z. Okay. We'll just make that add score. Add score. So that's an int. We're declaring it on the fly right there. And then it says, well, I don't know anything about that function because you never declared a prototype. And I'm like going, I know, I'm getting there. Patience, patience. So we're going to come right here and go void. Because it doesn't return anything. It just ups. And then we're going to call this add score. Update score. I'm sorry, you update score. And we're going to pass it in the int. And that's that. So that's adding the update score. So we're going to stop the game because it was actually running in the background. And then down here, we should not have an error. UPD underscore score. What did I declare up here? UPD underscore score int. So that's a declaration of that. Why is it? I love it when it does this on a real live video. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's funny. Because we're passing in an int. And there's update score. UPD underscore score. There it is. It's an int. It's a void. Control C. It doesn't like that at all. Wow, that's pretty funny. Let's go with the underscore. Okay, didn't like the underscore on that one. So let's go down here and get rid of the underscore on this one. Way down in the bottom here. Now, if I would have shrunk these down, it would. Let's get rid of that. Okay. And now it's angry because it's not defined right, but and let's get rid of it here. So this is us passing in 100, and it should update the score. That worked. And then down here in UPD score, there it is. And I have to say void because that's what I forgot to do. Well, because it's a function, void UPD score, and it's still, wow. There it goes, takes it away. So that's the score function there. So now, all we have to do is go up here, and whenever we want to update the score here, we just take this, and we also want to update the score here, right? And then up here, let's go to check objects, right? Because that's where another place where stuff happens. And let's say you finish the course. So when they finish the course, after they finish the course, we're going to say Control V, and then we're going to add 500. And then we're going to go one more time and Control V, and then we're going to add field times 10, right? So we'll just say field times 10. and it doesn't underline it, so I know I got the right variable, right? So I just gave them whatever field there. So that's a double update. Um, and then when we check for gas, there's the gas. Did we get the gas can? That updates automatically. Did we hit a hay bale? And so if we hit a hay bale, we can go right into the hay bale code now and see if we minus 10. So hay bale should be, now if you come right out of the gate and you hit a hay bale, you can go negative. What if you, so that's kind of funny. Let's see what happens here. Um, we'll just see how this plays out. But that's created a function. And I'm going to put this in here. We're going to start with a score of 0. Going to put in my name. And why are we doing this? I can't do anything until I hit the OK because the message box controls it. So then we come in here and we're going to get the gas can, get our 100 points. 100 points are on the screen. Let's hit a hay bale. Okay, that was bad. Don't hit hay bales, right? Now I'm at 140. And then I'm going to finish out. Let's see if this works. And I'll finish the course. And I should get 140 plus 500, right? Plus 240. So that's 740, 840. So I should be at 880 after I say OK. And does it? Let's see, 882. So I must add a little fraction of gas there. So then what we have to do, if we hit the brick wall, we have to do minus 100. Now, notice that I said in my code here, in my description, if we finish the course on the first try, then it's 500. If you finish it on the second try, it's 400. If third try, it'd be 300. So we would have to write something that would actually track the number of tries. I'm going to leave that, since I can't spoon feed you guys everything. You guys are going to have to figure out how to calculate tries, and then I'll post that as part of next week's video. Ooh, I just died. And I need to fix dying, because dying should just drop my score by 100. So I have to say OK now, and I have to hit close, because you have to say OK before you can even close it, or you can come right in here and just kill it that way. So when you hit a brick wall, we want to take away 100. So here's, I think we said brick walls were 100, yep. So when we kill ourselves with a brick wall or we run out of gas, that was minus 100. Of course, we run out of gas up here, right? Then we go back, look at the rules, make sure I'm obeying the rules. I'm going to let you guys do the try stuff. Out of gas, minus 100. So I'm right up here, running out of gas. Control V, okay. And minus 100. So you die, you lose 100 points. All right. And the brick wall was minus 100. So come down here to check objects. Did we see if you won? We calculated that code correctly. We check if did we hit a hay bale? That's minus 10. Did we hit a wall? And again, that's going to be minus 100. Control V. All right. So that's minus 100. Now, there's a new over here in the I said we wanted to play a sound when we update the score, so you would know, like, hey, there's something going on with the score, and they want a audible hearing of, like, there's something going on with the score. So I put a new wave file out here last night called pop.wave. It's a pretty simple wave file, but it's just like, yeah, it's just something little. I just thought it was, here, let me, okay. So just a little popping sound when that happens. And so I then take pop wave, copy it, and I'm going to put it in my repos directory here for my project. And that's where it is. So I'm going to put it in there. And then I have to go over to my functions, right? To get that to load up. So I have to open up ClassCon function. And I have to create another CL grow. So I'm going to take groans, right? Control C and Control V because programmers don't type that we can really cut and paste. CL pop. So we're going to do the pop. I'm going to do pop.wave. I believe it's pop.wave. Let's go verify the spelling, right? That'd be cool to do. So let me come over here, go to Echo Computers, go to my repos box and go to class 109, and so I can see exactly what I put in there for me in EFG pop.wave, and so I put it in there. I put it in there just like that. Of course, I have to do the prototype over here. Void CL pop. So I'm going to go up to the top in my function file because I'm doing this in my ClassCon function, and I'm going to put it right after groans, right? Because that's where it was down there. So why not just keep that consistent? And then I'm going to go back to course 9 and 12 are just backups. So I'm going to go back to 13, and I'm going to add the function prototype to this. So where's groans? I'll just put it right into groans. Try and keep all my sound prototypes together, right? And so how about, so now that we've made a function and we decided that we wanted it to play a sound, we only have to change this in one place because we wrote it as a function, right? So we come down here, we're all the way down to the bottom, and we go Control V. We're not declaring it, we're just using it. So we're going to put a little CL pop there. Okay. So whenever we update the score, it's going to make a little popping sound. Let's see what this is. The hay bales are going to be very interesting. I want to see how this actually works. All right. Done. You're like, why? Right? Oh. Should probably be our name. All right. So we're going to go like this. Okay, so that pop sound is overriding the other sound that we're playing with the and so now we're at 190, and that updated our score. Okay, do you want to play again? And so that's interesting. That gives the game a whole different feel. So we're at 290 points. So we may not want to play that when we play hay bales. So we might want to say certain things. We'll have to figure that one out, aren't we? We'll have to do some more research on sounds, but that changes the game completely. Again, this is my third try at finishing this course, but we're actually doing some testing and more talking than playing. Probably means I'm better at the field if I'm talking. All right, so that's interesting. you guys will have to decide whether or not you like it. And if you don't like it, then you just comment out the code. Or if you only want to use it at certain times, you may want to make a function with and without sound, or pass it another flag as 0 or 1 if you want the sound to play. So, all good stuff. And then we might want to also work on the timing of like when things happen. Okay. Oh, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. So I hit something. So I totaled the car, and so that's going to drop me down some points. So the thing is, what's really interesting, the way we have it wired up here, is you earn points every time you try. You earn major points every time you win. But that's a very interesting concept. I didn't realize that you could win at the. Okay. Okay. All right. That might work. Okay. Yeah, that worked. Yep. And that whips us through that one. And then it loads. Ben was like saying we might have like a little blinking loading window. Um, and that's going to be really easy to do. We have a window called loading. We have it display on top of the field or somewhere on the screen that says loading before we load all those bitmaps. And then when we're getting ready to play, we destroy the loading handle. So um, that's something we can play with. That's not good. I'm gonna have to modify this field. Look for an update. This field right here needs a little bit more space, so that doesn't happen. I needed to do that. Just an adjustment to that field. So I'm gonna hit 3 and call that good. Oh, I was supposed to get that gas can error, wasn't I? Let me get that before I die, and hope I get down here in time, because it's a long way to this gas can. I think I'm going to get out alive, guys. And that's game. So I turned, it didn't show it, but I'm in there with press OK. It probably should update the score before it does that, but I had 3,071 points in 3 levels, so that's just one way to do it. Anyway, that's keeping score this week. A couple supplementals coming out, but that's the programming challenge this week. People can enter in their name. The encouragement will be the update next week is we're going to have a list of high scores here, like the 5 top high scores. We're going to write to a file of who got the high score. And so putting nonsense in here is not going to mean a whole lot, right? You want to know who got the high score. Next semester, we might look at like putting that on the web server, and so you have like overall high score, and also setup screens and installation methods. I want to give you guys an installation method of how to share this game without giving away your code. So we have a lot of things to follow up. This is week 13. We have one more formal lecture, week 14. Then I'm going to encourage everybody at the end of next week to really focus on getting your stuff done, because I want to put together one last YouTube kind of showcasing everybody's project. The graphics artwork you did, the coding you did, and stuff like that. So that's pretty much me saying we want to put together a YouTube. Since we're all social distancing, you can sit down. It'll be probably a 30-minute YouTube. We'll play all the games, and maybe you guys can play the game or explain the game a little bit on a little video clip and send it to me, and I can embed that into the YouTube. I want to put something out there that we can all put together in remembering this class and play it with our relatives and remember this year, kind of closing out the school year. So, um, probably something like that. But we have next week is the 21st. Um, and then the week after that's the 28th, and that's the end of Echo. So, one major lecture next week. I might fire off a supplement tomorrow or Friday on a few things to clean up, and I'm going to clean up this field right here because this is really not functional. And then also note that our score's not updating until after we hit the U1 box, and so let's go back in there, and if you don't want to hit the X, you can just stop it like that, like I was telling you last time. So we want the score to update before the message box comes when you win. So just one real quick thing here in check objects, because that's done in check objects. So let me find it. There's check objects. Hooray, you finished the course. Okay. All that stuff. Before we destroy the car and the gas can and all that other stuff, we actually want to display your score before that box. Otherwise, it just like, what's my score? Oh, I can't see my score until afterwards. So that was just an inappropriate placement of that. And then we'll do all the cleanups. But you want to know your score of where you're at the end of that level. So really, that's just a better place to put those two updates. So you guys have, so that would make it go pop pop, and then also look at possibly saying, like, if you hit the wall, do you want to play the crash sound or whatever? And so you may want to be able to look at a bit to say, do you want it to pop or do you want to make the crash or the bump sound? Um, so that's just something that maybe when we update it at the end, it goes pop pop. You see what I'm saying? So it go pop pop at the end of it, but not everywhere else. And so we would just add another parameter to that function. Also remember those, I want to see who can do 500 if you get it on the first try, 400 on the second try, 300, 200, 100, and then like after the fifth try, maybe like saying, nah, you lost, go back, try again, make them start over, and reset everything back to beginning. Um, so those are things to think about. I'm not giving you the code to those things. I want to see if you guys can code that on your own without it just like handed out to you. It doesn't stop the functionality of the game, nor does it prevent us from finishing the next lesson. So those are two things I definitely need you to do, and they are on the sheet, and I will post that in GroupMe. So you guys have a blessed day. Why don't you guys just do a little bit of work there? Let's see where we at. Oh, that's not working for me. I never found the class, did I? There's that Word document, that Word document. Oh, here we are. So this week, again, fix your messages so they stay on top. Make sure you add your fields. Adjust your field cans. Add the score box and have it in it right. The function update score, have it play a short sound when it goes up. And then the other two is work on max tries and minimizing points after multiple tries. And that's what that means. So that's on there as of right now at the end of this message. And want you give you guys a chance to hammer that out on your own. All right. So I give you guys a little bit of a coding challenge. It's not really that hard. It's just adding a number of tries, trying to figure out how to initialize it, walking through your code, and seeing how you're going to adjust what you send to the score algorithm. And, you know, play with the sound thing on the score algorithm too. That's just adding another parameter to update score, or whether what you want to play a sound or not. So regardless of that, I hope you guys have a good day. It's a beautiful day after a couple days of freezing April temperatures, so that was fun. You guys enjoy your afternoon, and I'll get this published up here in a little bit. All right, have a good one, and we'll talk to you.